Welcome to my channel, where the world of horror and thrill comes alive. Today we dive into a terrifying journey with the movie Infested, 2023. In the vast, unforgiving deserts of the world, where survival is a struggle and the line between life and death is razor thin, there lies a deadly secret buried beneath the sands, one that could change everything. A group of illegal hunters, driven by greed and the promise of wealth, set out on a quest to capture the rarest creatures known to man. These are no ordinary creatures, but deadly venomous spiders, hiding in the deepest, most remote corners of the earth. With their legs as long as a human's arm and venom, potent enough to kill in seconds, these spiders have remained a secret for centuries. But when the hunters discover the home of these terrifying creatures, their greed blinds them to the danger they've unleashed. The spiders, disturbed and angered by the trespassers, begin to strike back. One by one, the hunters fall victim to their deadly bite as the creatures crawl out from their lairs to claim their revenge. But it's too late. The damage has already been done, and the horrors they've unleashed cannot be contained. Cut to a bustling market in France, where a young thief named Kaleb unknowingly comes into possession of one of these rare venomous spiders. Fascinated by its beauty and rarity, Kaleb brings the creature into his life, unaware of the terror it carries. Little does he know, the spider he's purchased is the catalyst for a nightmare that will spread like wildfire, turning his world upside down. As the spiders multiply, so does the death toll. What begins as a curiosity soon spirals into an uncontrollable crisis that threatens the lives of everyone around Kaleb. With the entire building he lives in locked down and swarming with these deadly creatures, Kaleb must fight for his survival, all while grappling with the terrifying knowledge that the same poison that threatens his life could destroy everything, if it escapes. In this world of darkness, deceit, and deadly creatures, one question remains. Can Kaleb escape the nightmare he's unwittingly unleashed, or will the spiders claim him and the rest of humanity as their next victims? The film opens with a sweeping view of a vast desert where a group of men have arrived illegally to capture rare desert spiders. These spiders, highly valuable and forbidden to trade, promise them a hefty profit on the black market. After wandering the barren landscape for hours, one of the men discovers a spider nest hidden beneath a large rock and quickly calls the others over. Excited, they gather around and spray a special chemical into a brick-lined sinkhole, forcing the black spiders to emerge. Suddenly, one of the spiders attacks a member of the group, biting him viciously. As he collapses, writhing in pain, the others ignore his suffering, focused solely on collecting as many spiders as possible. Coldly, they put an end to their injured friend's misery and leave him behind without remorse. The scene then shifts to France, where a boy named Kaleb is seen wandering through a bustling market known for trafficking in stolen goods. It's clear that Kaleb himself is involved in petty theft, as he negotiates with a dealer to exchange stolen items for an expensive piece of jewelry. While browsing, Kaleb notices a rare spider kept in a small container, the same species captured in the desert earlier. Fascinated by insects and exotic creatures, Kaleb immediately recognizes its value and buys it. With the spider and his other purchases in hand, he makes his way back to his apartment building, unaware of the horror he has just invited into his life. Kaleb's apartment was in a terrible state, and his sister was busy trying to repair it. We soon learned that their mother had passed away some time ago, leaving Kaleb and his sister to live alone in the rundown building. After placing his belongings in his room, Kaleb went down to the store area, where he kept a large collection of shoes. As he inspected the shoes, one of his friends nearby stole a bicycle. Although Kaleb had a history of petty theft himself, he was furious with his friend's actions. He had recently decided to turn his life around, leaving behind crime to start his own honest business. With a growing number of shoe orders to fulfill, Kaleb was focused on building a legitimate future. However, he soon noticed that one customer's shoebox was damaged. Knowing he couldn't deliver an order in a broken box, he rushed back home to get a replacement. Upon entering his room, he found the electricity had been switched off, and he immediately panicked. Turning off the lights was a serious mistake. The room was filled with delicate insects that needed warmth to survive. Angry, Kaleb confronted his sister, demanding to know why she had turned off the lights. She retorted by pointing out the soaring electricity bills, frustrated that Kaleb seemed oblivious to their financial struggles. She reminded him that keeping the lights on all day and night was not sustainable. Kaleb tried to reassure her, telling her he had started a shoe business and that money would soon come in. But his sister remained skeptical, not yet ready to trust in his promises. Kaleb quickly turned the lights back on in his room and began checking on all his insects. He tried to find a spot for his new spider, but there wasn't any proper space available. With no other option, Kaleb placed the rare spider into the broken shoebox he was still carrying. After settling things, he left to attend a party hosted by a close family friend, a woman he now considered a mother figure after his real mother's passing. This lady cared deeply for Kaleb, and the earrings he had bought earlier were meant as a gift for her. She praised Kaleb, telling him he was improving his life and that his mother would have been proud of him. They spent the evening enjoying themselves, dancing and celebrating, before Kaleb finally returned home late at night. When he went to check on the spider, he found the shoebox empty. The spider had escaped. Kaleb was devastated, knowing he had spent a lot of money on such a rare creature. Disheartened but practical, he packed the shoes from the broken box into a new one and went downstairs to deliver an order to a customer living in the same building. However, the suspicious building owner noticed Kaleb handing over the shoes and, as always, kept a close eye on him, convinced that Kaleb was involved in illegal activities. Meanwhile, back at the customer's apartment, the boy who received the shoes tried them on, only to discover something strange inside. Hidden within the shoe was the large spider. Luckily, the spider didn't bite him. As it turns out, while Kaleb had placed the spider in the broken box, it had crawled into one of the shoes, the very pair he unknowingly delivered. As the man removed the shoes, dozens of small spiders began crawling out. The original spider had laid its eggs inside the shoes. Within moments, the tiny spiders attacked, biting the man repeatedly. His body quickly became paralyzed, leaving him helpless and unable to defend himself. And within a short time, he succumbed to the venom and died. Meanwhile, Kaleb was growing increasingly anxious back at home. His sister and a few friends, who were helping set up the apartment, noticed his distress and pressed him to explain. Kaleb confessed that he had brought home a highly poisonous spider, which had accidentally escaped. He warned them that a single bite from it could be fatal. As they were talking, they heard loud barking outside the apartment belonging to the man Kaleb had delivered the shoes to. Alarmed, they rushed over and knocked on his door repeatedly, but there was no answer. Neighbors, hearing the commotion, began to gather. Despite the noise and knocking, the man never responded. Soon, the police were called. When the officers forced the door open, they found the man's lifeless body lying inside the apartment. The sight left everyone in shock and fear. Fueled by suspicion, the building owner, who had witnessed Kaleb delivering the shoes, accused him of handing over something dangerous, suggesting that the man died from a chemical overdose. However, the police quickly determined the real cause of death: multiple bites from a venomous spider. Within minutes, authorities imposed a strict curfew and sealed off the entire building to contain the threat. No one was allowed to enter or leave the building. A complete lockdown was enforced. This decision angered many residents, especially those who didn't even live there permanently. The scene then cuts to a cleaning lady working inside the building. While cleaning the attic, she stumbled upon a terrifying sight: a massive infestation of spiders and thick webs. She quickly pulled a can of spray from her coat and began killing the spiders. But suddenly, a huge spider leaped onto her face and attacked. After that horrifying moment, her fate was left unseen. Meanwhile, Kaleb's sister had gone into the washroom. Suddenly, dozens of spiders emerged from the ventilation system. Terrified, she screamed loudly, prompting her friends to rush in and pull her out of the bathroom. One of the boys tried to capture the giant spider, but when he failed, he resorted to killing it. Upon opening the ventilation pipe, they discovered a massive infestation inside. Spiders spilling out and spreading rapidly. Acting quickly, they sealed the washroom door to prevent the infestation from reaching the rest of the apartment. Kaleb was stunned. He explained that these were desert spiders, which usually couldn't reproduce or survive at low temperatures. He had no idea how they had multiplied so quickly. Realizing the danger, the group decided they needed to escape the building before it was too late. However, Kaleb disagreed. He insisted that they should stay and warn the other residents to save as many lives as possible. Despite his pleas, most of the group ignored him and attempted to flee, only to find the exits sealed under curfew. Determined to help, Kaleb and the few friends who stayed behind began searching the building, checking for signs of further infestations. To their horror, Kaleb and his friend discovered that the spiders had spread throughout the entire building, killing many of the residents. Terrified, they rushed back to their apartment, only to find that the rest of their group had also returned, having failed to find any way to escape. As they regrouped, the building's owner arrived, furious and determined to blame Kaleb for everything that was happening. Without warning, he attacked Kaleb and his friend with an iron rod, planning to search their apartment for evidence to hand over to the police. However, as he barged into Kaleb's room in the washroom, he unknowingly released a swarm of spiders hidden within. The group fled the apartment in panic, slamming the door behind them as the spiders poured out. Tragically, one of the boys who had stayed inside was overtaken and killed by the spiders. Witnessing his death shook everyone to the core. Kaleb, thinking quickly, remembered that there might be an emergency exit through the parking lot. They made their way there, only to find the entire area covered with enormous spider webs. They realized that to survive, they had to keep the lights on, the only thing deterring the spiders. However, the parking lot lights were motion activated and would turn off after just a minute unless someone kept moving. They carefully navigated through the darkness, staying as quiet as possible while trying to keep the lights triggered. In the chaos, Kaleb's sister was separated from the group. Just as the spiders closed in on her, she managed to light a small lighter, creating enough brightness to drive them back and allowing her to move forward safely. Eventually, the group reached the building's exit door. When Kaleb and his group finally reached the building's main door, they discovered it had been sealed shut. They knocked frantically, shouting for help, but the police refused to open it. Moments later, the police released a poisonous gas into the building, intending to wipe out all living beings inside. Humans, spiders, anything. Realizing the danger, Kaleb and his two remaining companions rushed to hide inside a small room, devastated that their fourth companion had just been killed. They stayed hidden for what felt like an eternity until finally the police opened the door. The authorities assumed there were no survivors left, but when they spotted Kaleb and his friends, they immediately arrested them. The police were prepared to execute them on the spot. During the chaos, another infected resident was captured. Furious, Kaleb fought back, demanding to know why they were being treated like criminals instead of being rescued. In response, the police inspector explained that the spider infection posed a catastrophic threat. If even one infected person escaped, it could endanger the entire country. No risk could be taken. In the midst of this, Kaleb's sister and one of his friends were tragically killed. However, the infected man, knowing he had little time left, decided to help. He revealed that a large number of spiders were still hiding in another room. He assured the police that Kaleb and his surviving friend were not infected and encouraged them to escape to prevent the infection from spreading further. Risking everything, the dying man tricked the police into opening a door filled with giant spiders, each the size of a dog. As the monstrous creatures poured out, chaos erupted. The police fired their weapons, sprayed toxins, and tried to contain the outbreak. Amid the confusion, Kaleb, his sister, and his remaining friends seized the chance to escape. They found a van outside, jumped in, and despite a giant spider blocking their path, they crushed it under the wheels and sped away. The scene shifts to some time later. Although Kaleb, his sister, and his friends survived, the government was now demolishing the building where they had once spent their childhood. In the final moments, it is revealed that Kaleb still secretly possesses one of the rare spiders, hidden away carefully. A chilling reminder that the nightmare might not be over. The story concludes with this haunting revelation. Thank you for watching this intense journey into the world of Infested, 2023. I hope you enjoyed the thrills, the suspense, and the horrors that unfolded on screen. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the movie, and subscribe to my channel for more thrilling reviews, deep dives, and the latest in horror cinema. If you have any thoughts or theories about the movie, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about Kaleb's survival, the spiders, and how it all went down. Until next time, stay safe and always remember, sometimes the most dangerous creatures are the ones hiding in plain sight.